What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys an urgent market update as Bitcoin has gotten an absolute monster move to the upside. Now, this is something we've been looking at on my live stream for the past week and a half. As we saw money flow starting to move its way to the upside, we were talking about how we may have to shift our sentiment into favoring those short positions, and we may want to kind of flip around and start to look to long all the higher lows that we start to make. And it turns out that that money flow does indeed very rarely lie. Shout out to Market Cypher. But we did see that money flow come up, and it did start this trend to the upside, and it allowed it to continue up a bit. And then on yesterday's market update video, we talked about a key level of support that we were flipping that could have potentially opened the door to 29 to 30K. And here we are, sitting just below 30K for Bitcoin, and it played out exactly as we would have expected when looking at the volume profiles. So I want to go ahead and take a look at some of that stuff for you guys. I want to show you the next levels of resistance I'm looking at, where I might be potentially expecting a pullback, and I want to kind of go over some of those things we've been looking at over the past week and a half on my live stream that helped us predict this move before it happened. That way, you can start to see this stuff on the chart, and the CandleMafia can start to take advantage of these moves before they happen, just like I do. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the charts. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart. This is the daily time frame, and as you can see, Bitcoin has absolutely seen a complete moonshot over the last 2 days. And again, guys, this was something we were looking at on my live stream for the past couple of weeks now. And one of those main things that we were looking at, expecting this move to continue to the upside, was the flip of this level right here at about $26,230 from resistance into support. And we knew once we flipped this value area low to support, due to the laws of the volume profile, we knew once we broke back into this level and were able to hold it as support, we knew the next likely spot for Bitcoin to go was going to be that point of control, which was the level we were playing around with yesterday as we got a slight little pullback. I actually expected it to pull back a little more, but Bitcoin had absolutely no chill, and it wound up doing what we would have expected when looking at the volume profiles. We got a little turbulence on the POC. We flipped it to support and then got the absolute rip up to our range highs. And guys, I hate to sound like a broken record, but this is why I preach the volume profiles so much, because we're able to predict these moves that are likely to happen by just looking at this one simple volume tool. And it is funny, there is always a narrative. Maybe it's a BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, but we were simply looking for this move up to about 29K to the range highs just based off the way that the volume profiles work. And if you're new to the channel, really quickly, and with that same thought process in mind, when you lose that value area high and you reject from the high, you are likely to come down to your POC and then eventually to your value area low. And this has worked time and time again for us, helping us predict these moves before they happen. And that's why I like to share this information with the CandleMafia so you guys can cash out on these moves as well. Now, guys, where is the next resistance for Bitcoin? Because as you know, we are starting to get a little bit of a breakout here, and we are starting to push past the range high, but we are coming up to some interesting resistance. And if we go ahead and pull our Fibonacci retracement levels right here from the absolute high to the absolute low, you can see we absolutely demolished this golden pocket, and we are now potentially making a run for the 786. And this is going to be the first major level that I would potentially be looking for shorts at, and it is coming in at about $29,700. You can see we've also gotten rejected near this level over here back in April as well. So I would go ahead and mark that out as a little bit of a range. And if we're able to get above this level, guys, we do have some of the highs up here that we may wind up finding some resistance on. And you can see we do have a couple of daily levels here. Let me just go ahead and mark those out really quickly. We do have some interesting resistance here. However, if we do wind up breaking this blue box, or basically the 786 at about $29,700, if we wind up breaking this, guys, and we flip this to support and we're able to stay above it, this is kind of where I would maybe chill out on looking for the shorts, and I may just sit on my hands and wait for a bigger move to the upside, because once we break this 786, I would expect a potentially bigger move to the upside and potentially cracking these highs and coming up to some higher prices. So right now, for the most part, the major next level of resistance is going to be this blue box. coming in between about 29,500 and about 29,700. And again, really the big reason I'm looking at this level is that 786 retracement from the absolute high to the absolute low of this most recent price action. So guys, let's take a look at the indicators and see what they're saying. Can we get some more continued upside? Now, coming down to some of these lower time frames, I mean, Bitcoin just has no chill, guys. This thing is just continuing to rip. Absolutely awesome to see. However, if we come down to some of these lower time frames, you can see, even if we come down to these lower time frames, guys, you can see we're putting higher highs in on our price action. And we do have a slightly lower high on our momentum waves, but look at this money flow. You do not want to fight against the money flow like this. This could be indicating that we may continue to push up here. I am, for right now, sitting on my hands, waiting for a clear confirmation to go short or long. At this point, as we continue to push up, I would be looking for shorts. However, I am being very, very cautious in this crazy bullish environment as we just are getting these candles to push and push and push further to the upside. But again, that key level up here, looking at this blue box for our next major level of resistance. Coming on down to some of these higher time frames, guys, we do have the 12-hour starting to roll over with our VWAP, our 16-hour starting to roll over with the VWAP as well, but money flow looks as good as possible, in my opinion. We're getting a crossover on the 12-hour. Your 10-hour is also crossing into the green as well, so even if we do get these VWAPs to roll back over to the downside, I will not really be expecting these shorts to play out as absolute dumps to the downside, but rather I would look for these to be somewhat lackluster pullbacks to put in higher lows, and then that is where I would be looking for my long positions to catch this continued move to the upside. Again, money flow indicates the longer term trend, so when you have money flow crossing into the green on time frames like the 8, 10, 12, 16 hour time frames like this, as well as even higher time frames like the higher daily time frames, you do not want to fight the trend. The trend is your friend. Well, at least until the end. But right now, it's looking like we could be beginning that money flow crossing into the green, which could mean this is the beginning of a bigger uptrend, which is why I will be more favoring longs and being a little bit more greedy with the longs than the shorts. And it all comes down to money flow. And I've been saying this a lot recently, but it's because it works. This is the reason why we were able to be comfortable shorting all these lower highs on the way down here. The reason we were able to confidently do that was because we know we had money flow on our side in the red, indicating the downtrend would continue. But that's not the case anymore. The trend is your friend until the end. This is potentially and likely the end of that trend. And now we have to flip that on its head and start to look for longs at the higher lows. Now, just a couple of quick tips on how we were able to predict this happening before price actually pumped. Number one, it was the volume profiles. We knew if we flipped this key level, which is the value area low to support, that would likely accept us back into the area of balance. We knew that would likely accept us back into this area of balance, making the next likely spot for Bitcoin to go the POC. And then if we got above that POC, we knew we would likely come to the value area high. Number one, and above all, that is one of the biggest things we were looking at. But also, guys, on Market Cypher, if you come up to the weekly, you guys will know we've been looking at this weekly VWAP rolling to the upside. We are now printing a green dot. This is pretty bullish in my opinion. And then if you come on down to the 6th day, you can see not only do we have a green dot printing, but we have a beautiful money flow crossover happening at almost the exact same time. And this is also a trigger wave. A lot of times when you get these tight trigger waves very close to that zero line, sometimes that can create a massive move. And I've been talking about this on my live stream for the past few days. So I'm super happy to see it play out as we expected. And hopefully the Mafia is seeing this happen live so you guys can see this stuff as well. Beautiful money flow crossover on the 6th day. Beautiful trigger wave, and we have a massive anchor wave here as well, making this trigger wave potentially very, very powerful. And then money flow is back in the green on the 5-day with a green dot printing. Your 4-hour money flow is still somewhat flat, but your green dot is printing. Money flow on the 2-day is finally starting to curve back to the upside, and the money flow on the daily is also continuing to flow back to the upside. And guys, this is some pretty bullish stuff in my opinion, but don't forget, guys, obviously we are due for pullbacks at some point. Like I said, the 12 and the 16-hour VWAP, some of these higher hourly time frames, the VWAPs are rolling over, so that could indicate a potential correction incoming. But again, I would be looking for those to be a little bit of a lackluster pullback before continuing to the upside. And the reason for that is because even though those red dots are looking to print, the money flow is coming up, and we know that indicates the longer term trend. And with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's market update. Hopefully you guys learned something. Don't forget, watch that key level of resistance as we are continuing to push into it right now. Bitcoin has absolutely no chill. And guys, I'll also give you guys a level of key support right now as we break out of this value area high. I will say if we wind up coming back down, a big level I would be looking at would be right here, which is the value area high coming in at 28,930. This would be a very good level to flip to support. But to be honest, guys, right now my eyes are looking up because Bitcoin is just continuing to push. So I am looking for those levels of resistance, looking to catch those scalp short positions. And if we break that value area high, guys, I would be looking further down to this local golden pocket between about 27.9, almost 28K, and about $27,540. This would be another level I would be looking for. If we can even make it back down there, I would be looking for bounces at that level as well. And you can see if we pull our old range that we were looking at last week, you can see our value area high comes real close to the bottom of that blue box or that 786 fib level. So about $27,500 even would be another level I'd watch because of that value area high. Again, that would be a decent place for price to kind of come back down, test, and then continue back to the upside. So guys, that's all the time I got for today's market update. Thanks for watching. If you guys found this valuable, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our urgent market updates. And with all that being said, that's all the time I got for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know.